As you saw, I went ahead and I've removed the CV axle from the car, and I bought a second-hand one, which cost me 50 quid, and it came with a ripped boot. I managed to negotiate a £30 refund, so £20 isn't bad going for an axle. Long story short, I've already put it on the car, tested it, and it solved the problem. So we don't need a new diff or anything bad like that. It is just the axle. So we've got to remove it from the car, dismantle it all, repack some grease in, put the new boots on. I've managed to source a brand new built boot for the outer, but I can't find one for the inner. Not that big of a deal. I'm just going to use the one from the knackered one and put it on the new one. It's in pretty good condition. I would prefer it if it was new, but it is what it is. So yeah, let's crack on with that. We'll just cut straight to me dismantling them, and you know how much of a shit job I thought it was in the shed doing this. So yeah, it's safe to say I'm not going to enjoy this one, but needs must, it needs done. So let's crack on. She's off. Right guys, I've managed to get both axles off. Thing to note, if you're just inspecting these out of curiosity, if the grease is brown, probably a good idea to strip them apart and replace the grease. And also check your boots, because if it's brown, it's likely been mixing with water and dirt and all of that good stuff. Or it's just that the grease is old and, you know, it doesn't last forever. So yeah, the plan is, I'm hoping that I can just disassemble this one. I'm hoping I can clean it up so I don't have to disassemble that one. As you may know, in the shed I ended up breaking the cage. It's an absolute nightmare to get that last ball in. It's a nightmare to get the first one out, and it's a nightmare to get the last one in. So that's the plan. To replace this boot, as I've got a brand new one for this side, and then I'm going to use the one from the knackered one on this side. It's definitely, you know, an old boot. It's over here. It's definitely an old boot, but it's, you know, in semi good condition. Not amazing, but it's going to have to do. Good news, I've managed to clean it extremely well. I need to go over a few bits, but I can just repack the grease without worrying about dismantling all of this and breaking it. So this is going to save me a ton of time. So I'm going to let that dry, as I've been spraying brake cleaner and all manner in there. While we wait for that, I'm going to grind back the rod so we can spray it. Right guys, so I've grinded it back, but I've only got pink spray. Now, as you know, I was back in the shed. I quite like the idea of having pink axles because it would look different, which is fair enough. But I think now I've got some black on the front, some pink on the front, then I've got an old unrestored one on the right hand side, and now I'm going to have a pink and green one on the left side. It's a complete mismatch of colours. So yeah, I really can't be bothered driving to Halfords just for the sake of getting spray. And I've grinded it back now, so I kind of need to spray it. Right then, before we go, I just need some assistance on setting up this carbon canister box. So, we've got 3 pipes, 3 holes for pipes. We've got a bigger one, a smaller one, and a slightly bigger one than the smaller one. Yeah, so we've got a large pipe and a small pipe. I'm guessing this large one goes on the far left side. We've got the smaller pipe which will go in the middle, and then I'm guessing one connects from the valve back to the box as well, which I'm guessing is the third one. If you could just point me in the right direction whether that's correct or not, I'd really appreciate it.
Is that the handbrake, yeah? Yeah. Let it roll back and then apply the handbrake.
Not rolling.
Let me encourage it. Is that handbrake on? Yeah. Handbrake on. Well, pull it. Yeah. Yeah, I can't move it. There is a bit of a weird noise on that side. I think it might just be the axle on this.
Good news, guys, I've got a working handbrake. Can you believe it? It's taken absolutely ages to get it working because I'd bought the wrong handbrake cable somehow. Brand new set of handbrake cables, and yeah, they were too long, which at the time I didn't think about. Oh, you can cut handbrake cables down and still use them. I ended up buying a second-hand set that were for a Hawkeye, and they work perfectly, although they don't push into the hub, which isn't a massive problem, I don't think. And yeah, in other news, the axle's in, as you know, and it's working. There's no more clicking. There is a tapping from somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where that is. I have had an issue with, if on the nut that holds on the CV axle on the hubs on either end, the left side is further in than the right side, and they're both torqued down to the same spec. So I don't know if I've not pushed in one of the bearings, not the bearings, the hub, the drive flange enough, or I've pushed one in too much. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to swing towards I may have pushed it in too much, because I originally thought this clicking from the car was the ABS sensor. It doesn't touch the ABS ring, but it's very, 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 very close. So as the wheel spins, obviously it takes the reading and whatnot. I thought that was tapping on it. And to be fair, when I removed it, it did stop the initial clicking. But also, when I was putting the handbrake together, I say I was putting it together. Gareth's an expert at putting handbrakes together. I haven't got the patience for it. The bottom spring that holds the two shoes together, that seemed to be rubbing on the ABS ring, and we've managed to reposition it in such a way where it doesn't rub, but it's still extremely, extremely close. So, yeah, let me know in the comments below can you push the flange in too far, or is it, you just push it in and it goes in the correct amount. Yeah. So, yeah, 2 problems solved, and then a minor issue on that. I have also got an issue with it overheating. It was overheating on the driveway, which it didn't do before, but the bottom radiator pipe has blown off throughout all of this testing. So I'm hoping that it just needs burped again, and I probably need to add a bit more coolant and all that good stuff. I'm hoping that's the issue. I see no reason why not, because as I say, it never overheated in the shed, and it was running for God knows how long, and even with me driving it off the recovery truck, it never overheated. So you wouldn't think it would overheat me just driving up the driveway. So, short of me filming a video on putting the interior back together or the carbon canister, I haven't really got an awful lot to film on the car now. So with that said, unless you've got any ideas for me, we will be very shortly moving on to the BMW engine. Can you believe it? We're entering a new era, and yeah, we're gonna be tackling that, stripping it down, not entirely, just general maintenance that would prove difficult if it was in the car. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And I suppose at some point, eventually, we'll put the engine in Monroe, aka the BMW E30. So, mad. It's a madness, guys. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.